And usually this is associated in those patients who have straight back syndrome. Yung AP, anteroposterior diameter ng chest nila, may makipot. So nako-compress yung heart. But wala silang nararamdaman. Functionally, they are okay. So parang, you call that, parang physiologic sa kanila, no? And diffuse central precordial leak and global enlargement in cases of severe mitral regurgitation, sometimes in severe aortic regurgitation. Palpation, where is the PMI or your apex beat? Is there lip or hips? If there is hip, anong grade na ng murmur niyo yun? Grade 4, no? So, normally, you have dullness at the lower fifth or fourth intercostal space. If it becomes abnormal, then you have to think. Usually, di na natin ginagawa yan. Just take note of the apex beat for you to know whether the heart is enlarged or not. Diba? Liver dullness, gastric tympani, ito yung Magen plus inyo. What about the pulse? Take note of the pulse. Ingat lang kayo. Especially sa neck, yung carotid pulse. Okay? How is the pulse? Boom-boom ba siya? Is there decrease in the amplitude of the pulse? Ibig sabihin, weak ang pulse niya. And you call that your pulsus parvus. Ibig sabihin, low ang stroke volume ng pasyente. So what are the conditions that your stroke volume may be diminished? Is the pulse narrow? 120/80, most of the time that's the normal. No? Ibig sabihin, nagdidikit ba yung systolic at saka diastolic? Then you call that your narrow pulse pressure. An increase in the peripheral vascular resistance. These are conditions that may present to you with pulsus parvus or small weak pulse. Hypokinetic pulse. In cases of hypovolemia, LV failure, restrictive or pericardial disease, or in cases of mitral stenosis. Pulsus parvus is likewise can also be seen in mitral stenosis, severe mitral stenosis. So any condition that may decrease the volume or stroke volume may give you a small pulse. Pulsus parvus and tardus. Pulsus parvus, a small pulse with delayed systolic peak. So gradual ang rise niya. This is seen in cases of left ventricular outflow tract obstruction, like your aortic stenosis. Okay? Remember, aortic stenosis may be valvar, subvalvar, or supravalvar. Okay? So any obstruction in the LV outflow will give you pulsus parvus et tardus. Hyperkinetic, ito yung mga complete heart block, mitral regurgitation, VSD, increase in the stroke volume. Okay? In severe incomplete heart block, sometimes ang pasyente yung added volume, let's say in mitral regurgitation, malakas ang pulse, yung volume ng blood kasi marami. Okay? In hyperkinetic circulation, ito yung mga hyperthyroid state, anxiety, anemia, exercise, or Corrigans. This is another peripheral sign of severe aortic regurgitation. This is an abrupt upstroke followed by rapid collapse. Okay, seen in PDA, AV fistula as well, or in severe aortic regurgitation. This experience, you have two systolic peaks. Okay? The percussion and tidal wave. Yung dalawang peak na yun, one is called percussion and the other one is called tidal wave. In which a large stroke volume is injected rapidly from the left ventricle, and this is seen in pure AR and HOCM, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. So makikita nyo, ang configuration is ito. Okay? Dalawa siya. Ang dicrotic pulse naman, these are two palpable waves, one in systole and another one in diastole. The other one is during systole, yung Bisquerians. Tandaan nyo yun, lumalabas parati ito on how you're going to differentiate the two. Okay? This is seen in dicrotic pulse is seen in severe heart failure, hypovolemic shock, and cardiac tamponade. Pulsus alternans, you have an alternating strong and weak pulse. Okay? Usually this is a sign of severe depression and systolic function, severe heart failure. Or can be seen in patient, can you see it? Indicia pulse. It's more of an electrical alternance. Electrical sa ECG, tall R, small r, tall R, small r. Because of the swinging ng heart sa massive pericardial effusion, lumiliit yung R wave sa ECG. It's different when you're talking of electrical alternance. Pulsus by Gemini. So you have PBC, premature beats, alternating. Okay? May skip beats ka. This is one thing to differentiate between pulsus alternans and pulsus bigemini. Sa bigemini, meron kang early, tapos may pause ka. Sa alternans, regular ng rhythm mo. Okay? Pulsus paradoxus, this is seen in cardiac tamponade. Massive pericardial effusion with tamponade. This is an exaggerated reduction in arterial pulse during inspiration by more than 10 millimeters mercury. Tinuro ba sa inyo paano gumawa ng pulsus? Ha? Hindi. Paano kayo pumasa? Ha? Sabay yan. Mahirap kuhanin. Okay? Sometimes what we do, pagbaba mo, titignan mo yung pasyente. And during inspiration, mababa yung BP. If the BP falls below more than 10 millimeters mercury during inspiration, so hindi lang minsan yung titignan yan. Okay? Makikita nyo that during inspiration, mas mababa ang BP ng pasyente. Or you ask the patient, try to hold the breath. That's the easiest way. Ang problem kasi kung minsan, kuwalan tayo. But if the patient is already in tamponade, that's bedside maneuver. Sometimes you don't see pulsus paradoxus, but there are already evidence that the patient is in tamponade by imaging, like your 2D echo. Okay? Ibig sabihin, mauuna yung 2D echo kesa sa bedside sign. Okay? So, what are the cases? Usually, it's in cardiac tamponade, patient with COPD, sometimes in constrictive pericarditis as well. So, ito yung pulsus paradoxus. This is easy. Titignan mo lang na ganyan because you're looking at an arterial waveform. So, invasive ito. You know? Invasive yan. So, sometimes it's nice to know itong mga cases na ito once you are inside the cath. Okay? What do you think is the reason why bumababa ang blood pressure during inspiration in cases of cardiac tamponade? When you inspire, what happened to the right side? Eh? You increase what? Increase in venous return. Diba? Because of, when you inspire, the negative intrathoracic pressure drops. Okay? Nakuha yan? Hindi. Tayo niyan. Bumababa ang intrathoracic pressure. Remember that the flow from higher, ipupush niya back yan. So you increase now your venous return. Increasing the venous return, you increase the right side flow. Kaya lang, that is not transmitted on the left side. Okay? So when you inspire, dahil marami yung volume sa right side, your interventricular septum is pushed to the left. So lumiliit yung chamber ng inyong left ventricle. So kukunti ngayon yung volume sa left ventricle, kaya mababawasan din yung stroke volume ng left ventricle. Kaya kung decrease ang stroke volume, bababa ngayon ang cardiac output mo. Stroke volume times the heart rate is your cardiac output. Gets nyo? Sige. Kaya bumababa during inspiration. Okay. Okay, so these are the some of the yung pulses, abnormal pulses, pag kinapanyo, and the associated disorder na para sa pulse na yun. Okay? Summary lang yan. JVP. How do you get your JVP? Jugular venous pressure. This is an objective evidence kung ano yung central venous pressure nyo bedside. Okay? This reflects the basic changes in the right atrium. So how do you get your JVP? Anong degree sa pasyente na nakaupo when you get your JVP? Upright ba siya? Nakahiga ba siya? 20 degrees? 30 degrees? 45 degrees? 45 degrees. Then, tignan nyo yung peak ng pulsation, di ba? Alin ang tinitignan nyo? Is it the external jugular or internal jugular? Anong sabi sa PT? Internal jugular. Mahirap kung ang pasyente nyo maiksi ang leg o mataba ang pasyente, di ba? Kung minsan, di nyo kita yun. But a rough estimate, sometimes you can make use of the external jugular. Pero ideally, it should be the internal. So you measure that, make a horizontal line and a perpendicular line towards your angle of fluid. Diba? Yung distance na yun, that's your jugular, jugular venous pressure. Pag nagdagdag ka the distance between the angle of fluid and the center of your left atrium, usually that is 5 centimeter, you call that your central venous pressure. Okay? Kakaintindihan tayo. So if you want to get your CVP, you add 5. Pag nag-report kayo, JVP, yung measurement nyo lang. Okay? So, that reflects the pressure on the right side chamber. Okay. So, where is this is the external jugular. Tama? O bakit dito external ang mini-measure? Which is more direct? The internal or external? Mas diretso yung internal. Kaya lang, ang internal jugular nyo is this one. Hindi nyo nakikita. External to eh. Okay? So kung hindi nyo kita yung ano, you can make use of this. But if you see that there is, eto yung, you have a triangle whenever we insert a dialysis access. Ano? So you have your sternocleidomastoid, this one, huh? And you have a triangle here, a triangle. So you have your clavicle, sternocleidomastoid, and I forgot this muscle. So usually when we do IJ insertion without the ultrasound, ang direction is at the apex going to the bone. Okay? Of course, that's blind. Insertion. So usually, ang IJ mo is towards this. Kung hindi mo kita, you can make use of your external jugular, then try to measure. That estimates your jugular venous pressure. Okay? So ito yun. Measuring CBP and the heart pressure. So 45 degrees. Waveform. So sometimes you see this at the bedside. Yung jugular venous waveform. So you have your A wave, that's the initial one. I'm sure it's very hard for you. Ang isipin nyo lang, what corresponds to these waves. So the A wave corresponds to the right atrial contraction. Okay? Then your C wave, that's the bulging of your tricuspid valve during systole towards the right atrium. So ibig sabihin, systole, whenever we talk of systole, diastole, we're talking here of the ventricular side. Okay? So pag systole, mag-contract yung right ventricle, the tricuspid valve closes and bulges towards the right atrium. And that creates another wave, that's your C wave. Okay? Now, of course, meron kang X and Y descent. Okay? Your X descent, this is the atrial relaxation. Pag contract ng atrium, magre-relax ang atrium, okay? Bababa ngayon yung pressure. That's your X descent. Pag contract ng ventricle, the tricuspid valve is pushed towards the right atrium. That creates your C wave. Kaya aakyat ng konti. Pag open ngayon, tuloy-tuloy yung X descent. Once na magano yung tuloy-tuloy yung X descent, it becomes your Y descent after your C wave. So, your X prime descent, yung pa rin yung relaxation eh. The atrium continues to relax. Bababa pa lalo. So yun yung X prime. Then, meron kang V wave. When blood flows into the right atrium during ventricular systole. Kasi, yung venous return mo, magpo-flow na to your right atrium. Tataas na uli yung pressure sa right atrium. So, ang sinasabi dito, yung B wave, RA during ventricular systole. You're talking here of your atrial diastole. Nakuha niya? Hindi naman sabay yan eh. Hindi sabay yung dalawa. Ang libro kasi, whenever we talk of the cardiac cycle, pag sinabing systole, diastole, you're thinking of palaging ventricle yan. Okay? So, dito, when flow bloods into the right atrium, relax pa yung right atrium mo. But your right ventricle is contracting. Systole yun. So when blood flows into the RA during ventricular systole, okay? So tataas na yung pressure because of your venous return. Tapos, yung wide descent mo, that this is the decline in the RA pressure when the tricuspid valve opens. Pag open ang valve nyo, bababa ngayon yung RA pressure. That is now your wide descent. Got nyo? Hindi. Naguguluhan pa rin kayo? A-wave. Atrial systole. Di ba? Pag-contract ng A-wave nyo, ay ng atrium nyo, magre-relax siya. Di ba? Pag nag-relax siya, bababa ang BP, ay ang pressure. That is your X-descent. So pag-contract niya, na-fill up na yung ventricle nyo ng blood, di ba? Tataas yung pressure nyo sa ventricle na mas mataas ngayon sa pababang pressure ng RA, magko-close na yun yung tricuspid valve. Pag close ng tricuspid valve, magbabal siya sa atrium. Di ba? Pero nag-contract itong right ventricle. Mapupus ngayon yung tricuspid valve towards the right atrium, magkakaroon ka ng C-wave. Okay? Ngayon, tuloy-tuloy yung relaxation. So, pababa pa rin yung pressure. Yan yung X-prime descent. Okay? So, pagkatapos mag-contract na yun, ng inyong ng ventricle mo, sabay nun, mag-fill up na rin yung atrium mo ng venous return. Okay? Tataas na ngayon. And this is your C-wave. Pagbukas ng tricuspid valve, bababa na, that is your wide descent. Okay ba tayo doon? Napipicture nyo nung nangyayari. Dapat i-memorize nyo yan, hindi nagbabago yan. Hindi pa tayo pinanganak, ganyan na yung cardiac cycle. Okay? You must understand this. Kasi once you go to the different diseases, dyan nagbabago yan. And that's what you call the hemodynamics. Okay? So, jugular venous waveform. So, the A wave, so, kailan tataas ang JVP? Anything that will increase your right-sided pressure. In right-sided heart failure, superior vena cava syndrome, in tricuspid stenosis, di ba? Kasi meron kang obstruction. Pag kita nyo, isang malakas na gano'n, and you consider that as your A wave, a Cannon A wave. This is seen in complete AB block or AB dissociation. Anong ibig sabihin nun? The atrium contracts in a closed tricuspid valve. Kasi hindi synchronize yung atrium mo at saka ventricle in complete heart block. Okay? Hindi sila synchronize. The atrium may contract na close pa yung tricuspid valve. Kaya what you see is a very large A wave. A prominent CV wave, ibig sabihin nag-fuse yung C wave at saka B wave, and this is seen in tricuspid regurgitation. Okay? Kasi during systole, ang sabi natin, pag contract ng ventricle mo, common chamber yung dalawa. Okay? An inspiratory accentuation increase ang ano mo is called your Kussmaul sign. Okay? Seen in RV infarct, constrictive pericarditis, and most of the time, kita rin yung rapid Y descent. So these are just some of the illustration inside the cath lab or at bedside. Sometimes you see these forms. It's hard. I know it's very hard to understand, but you must memorize this. Okay, so when you make a diagnosis, tapos na tayo, na-examine nyo na yung pasyente. No? When you make a complete cardiac diagnosis, you must fulfill this. Kasi, I've noticed for a long time, when you present cases, especially sa CPC, ang isang diagnosis, palagi diagnose congestive heart failure. Remember that congestive heart failure is just a manifestation of a cardiac condition. No? It is a syndrome. Syndrome siya. So when you make a complete cardiac diagnosis, you have these elements. Number one, etiology. Is the disease congenital? Is the disease infectious in cases of infective endocarditis? Is the disease hypertensive, cardiovascular? Pag ganun kasi, or atherosclerotic, ano? Pag ganun kasi, ilalagay na lang as coronary artery disease. Or ischemic in origin, yung coronary artery disease. Okay? That's the etiology. Anatomic abnormalities. So on physical examination, is the heart is enlarged? Okay? What chamber is enlarged? Are they hypertrophy? Are they dilated? Itong hypertrophy, dilatation, these are all seen through imaging. Okay? X-ray, echo, ECG. But yung histories, most of the time, wala pa yung mga yan. Just very obvious that your apex bit is displaced. Okay? Or is there valve involvement? Do you have the murmur? Okay? So, ito yung anatomic. Is there mitral stenosis? Is there regurgitant lesion? What valve is involved? Gets niyo yan? Ano? Chamber and valves, anatomic yan. Physiologic disturbance. What is the rhythm? Is the patient in sinus rhythm? The patient in atrial fibrillation. At bedside, ang arrhythmia is seen. Ano? Pagkapanyo, there is irregular rhythm. That's atrial fibrillation. Kung mga premature beats siya, that is either a PVC, premature ventricular depolarization, or premature atrial contraction. Is there signs of congestive heart failure? Congestive heart failure, may symptoms ba siya ng orthopnea, yung cardinal symptoms kanina. Okay? Easy fatigability, TND. Okay? So, congestive heart failure. Is there ischemia? Yung wall ng ischemia can be seen by echo. But at bedside, hindi mo masasabi yan. Okay? So, kung anong location ng ischemia, what arteries involved. So, after that, you have your functional classification. That is based on your New York Heart Functional Classification. Kung ang pasyente, wala siyang heart failure, there's no evidence of congestive heart failure, angina, then change nyo lang yung New York Heart Classification to Canadian Classification for angina.
Pareho lang yan. 1, 2, 3, 4 lang. Okay? The same. Para makita nyo lang anong activity nagkakaroon ng angina yung pasyente. Okay? So it's either New York Heart Classification Functional Class 2 or CCS2. Pag-angina. Sometimes they include therapeutic. Yung therapeutic will just be based on your classification. How bad is the patient? Okay? So, 15 minutes. Auscultation. This is ito na yung pinakamagandang parte ng cardiology. Okay? All of you should have a stethoscope. It doesn't matter anong klaseng stethoscope, but what is very important is what is between your earpiece. Okay? Hindi nyo nakuha. Meron ka lang tutuli, wala kang marinig. Useless yung stethoscope niya. Okay. BP. How do you get the BP? Try to practice. Practice kayo. So, systole is the first Korotkoff sign. Okay? Dapat, pahinga na yung pasyente. Okay? Diastole is the last Korotkoff sign. But, so, you make use of that by using your stethoscope. Auscultation yun. Okay? But sometimes you can estimate the BP by palpation. So once you are already in the clinics means sa hospital, intern na kayo. Nagmo-monitor kayo. Iyan na nyo yun. Practicein nyo yung sarili. By just pressing the brachial artery and at the same time, yung radial artery. It takes practice. Okay? So, the first appearance of the pulse, yun yung bipalpation. You can use that also, kasi kung wala kang stethoscope, ang most of the time na maririnig mo is your systole lang. Diba? But, very few know how to take the diastolic also. Few knows Korotkoff pulse bounding, yung pinakamalakas na huling sound. Probably that is your diastole. So yung una, yun yung systole niya. Tapos yung malakas na pulse, that's your diastole. Okay? Yung iba naman, walang sphygmomanometer. Wala rin siyang stethoscope. Yun ang gusto kong practicein na. Take note, yung pag-press nyo ng brachial artery, na wala ngayon yung radial pulse nyo. No? So yung pressure dun sa kaliwang kamay mo, estimate nyo ngayon. By practice, yung systolic blood pressure. Gawin nyo yan, ha? Pag nagmo-monitor. Kasi that's your only chance. So, ano yung ideal na cuff? Or you call it the bladder. The length should cover 80% of the circumference ng arm. And the width should cover 40% ng army. Okay? Bruit, try to check the bruit, auscultate for carotid bruit. Saan ba yung carotid bulb? It is at the angle of your mandible. Okay? Check for bruit sa upper abdomen. Okay? Aortic sa gitna, renal, then your iliac. May bruit ba? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng brewing? It's a murmur, di ba? But you call it brewing pag blood vessel siya. Pag sa bulb siya, you call it murmur. But pareho sila, how do you produce the brewing or the murmur? That is secondary sa turbulence ng flow. Okay? So, heart sounds, ito yung, and murmurs, ito na yan. Ano yung first heart sounds? This is secondary to what? Naku, tapos na yata. Okay. So, heart sounds are vibrations. Ano? Produced by acceleration or deceleration of the flow of blood. The first heart sound is produced primarily by the closure of your AV valves. You have two AV valves, the mitral and the tricuspid. Okay? So, normally you have a splitting of your first heart sound. Kahit na ako, di ko malaman. Paano nyo masiseparate ng tenga nyo yung 10 and 30 milliseconds? Hirap, di ba? But sometimes, if you hear two sounds during systole, alam mo may splitting. Okay? Yun lang technique dyan. Dayahin. Okay? So, yung very narrow na sound, na splitting, kung isa normal yan. What is the intensity? Gaano kalakas yung sound? Okay? It will depend on the position of the mitral leaflet at the onset of ventricular systole, the rate of rise of the left ventricular pressure, the presence or absence of structural heart disease, and the amount of tissue or fluid between the heart and the stethoscope. So, what condition will give you loud S1? In cases of tachycardia, you have a shortened diastole. Okay? Tachycardia can give you loud first heart sound. AV flow is increased in cases of high cardiac output. Hyperthyroidism, very anemia, will give you a loud S1. If the AV flow is prolonged, in cases of mitral stenosis, okay, in MS, pag pliable ang valve sa MS, pliable means gumagalaw. You can hear the loud S1. And sometimes this is followed by an opening snap. If the atrial contraction precedes a ventricular contraction by an unusually shortened interval, a short PR interval, can give you a loud heart sound. Anong example na? A premature atrial contraction kung shortened yung PR interval. Okay? A soft S1, this is secondary to poor conduction of sound. Kung malaki yung barrel-chested ang pasyente, okay? Kung meron siyang pericardial effusion, or in patient with slow rise of the left ventricular pressure in cases of systolic dysfunction, congestive heart failure. In cases of prolonged BR interval, first degree AV block. Okay? Or an imperfect closure secondary to mitral regurgitation or tricuspid regurgitation. or in severe calcific mitral stenosis, hindi na gumagalaw yung mitral valve. Hindi na So, these are conditions na pwedeng mahina yung S1 nyo. Now, the mga question dito, what about the splitting? You have a widening of your S1, the aortic component and pulmonic component. This is often seen in CRBB, complete right bundle branch block. You have a wide S1, A2P2. In a normal cardiac cycle, alin ang nauuna? Is it the right or the left? A2, P2 yan eh. So, ibig sabihin ng A2, nauuna yung left side, aortic valve, di ba? So, pag nauna yung A2 mo, and you have a complete right bundle branch block, delayed ang conduction mo sa right, delayed ngayon yung closure mo sa ano? Sa right side ng tricuspid valve. So, you will hear a splitting of your S1. Gets nyo yun? Normally, una ang left side. Nauuna yung cycle ng left side. Kasi palagi lang sinasabi sa inyo, what happens on the right, same thing with the left. But the timing is different. Okay? Ako yan. Sagutin ko lang. Jeffrey. Jeffrey, nasa klase ako. Tawagan mo ko na yun. So, pwedeng, kung right bundle branch block ang pasyente, pag may nakita kayo sa wall, pakinggan nyo. So, you'll know na ito yung sinasabi dito. Okay? Reverse splitting naman is nauna yung pulmonic tricuspid component. Okay? Of course, dito, complete left bundle branch block. Ibig sabihin na delay yung ano mo, yung mitral component ng S1 mo, nauna ngayon yung P2. Okay? Or in cases of severe mitral stenosis, hindi mag-open ka agad yung mitral valve, o magsara ka agad yung mitral valve, kasi very stiff yun. Okay? So that's the first outcome. 4 minutes. Give him another 4 minutes. So, second heart sound, this is your closure ng semilunar valves. This is your pulmonic valve and your aortic valve. Okay? Normally, yung S2 nyo, occurs, yung splitting occurs during inspiration. May splitting ka ng S2. Bakit? That because of the increase in venous rhythm, increase ang iyong increase ang flow sa right side, nadidelay ngayon, humahaba yung cycle nyo. Okay? Nadidelay yung closure. Yung ejection humahaba. Kaya meron kang physiologic splitting na tinatawag. Okay? So this is secondary to the augmented inflow into the right ventricle, thereby increasing the stroke volume and ejection period that delays the closure of your pulmonic valve. Okay? So, you have two components. One is the P2. Okay? P2, ang P2, that is the closure ng pulmonic valve, and this coincide with the incisura in the pulmonary artery pressure tracing occur. And this is separated from the RV pressure tracing by an interval of almost, may hangout time ka. This reflects the resistance to the pulmonary blood flow and the impedance characteristics of the pulmonary vascular bed. So kung meron kang pulmonary hypertension, mataas ang pulmonary pressure mo, usually lalakas ang P2 mo, loud ang P2. Okay? Or in cases you have a bulbar pulmonic stenosis, malakas din ang P2. When S2 is prolonged, you have yung physiologic splitting nyo is prolonged. Ibig sabihin, what are the conditions that will give you this? These conditions are associated with RV volume overload. Ano yung mga yun? Pwedeng VSD, ASD. Okay? ASD, you have splitting. But, you have a fixed splitting of S2. Okay? Sa ASD, atrial septal defect. Something to do with the changes in the that is the hallmark of ASD, a fixed splitting of S2. Fixed splitting, dinig mo siya, pare-pareho. S2 is reduced and splitting is narrowed in patient with increased pulmonary vascular resistance. Ito yung mga may pulmonary hypertension. So you can have splitting sa BBB, LV ectopic fits, LV pacemaker, then prolonged RV contraction due to increased pulmonary pressure, cases of pulmonary embolism or pulmonic stenosis, or delayed pulmonic valve closure because of an RV volume overload associated with RV failure or decreased RV function. Okay? So, pulmonary hypertension, P2 is loud, early aortic valve closure occurs in mitral regurgitation and ventricular septal defect because of the increase in the volume of the left side. Fixed splitting, this is seen in ASD. Okay? So, andyan yan. Lahat ng explanation andyan. What about reversal? Nauna yung P2 kaysa sa A2. So, this is seen in RBBB, LBBB, I mean, left bundle branch block. Or, in cases of severe outflow tract obstruction, aortic outflow, in cases of aortic stenosis, in cases of pulmonic valves, patent ductus arteriosus, systolic hypertension, or in patient with LV failure. Okay? Ischemic heart disease, cardiomyopathy. Third heart sound is a low-pitch sound produced in the ventricle. So, this is another sign for congestive heart failure. S3. This is what you call your S3 gallop. This occurs before your A2. Okay? Or after your A2. I mean. Kasi it occurs during diastole. This is pag-open kasi ng mitral valve. Kung less compliant ang inyong ventricle o nagpe-fail ang ventricle, you will hear some vibration and that is your S2. Ay S3 galaw namin. Okay? So this is seen in patient abnormal sa patient with impaired LV function, aortic valve regurgitation, AV valve regurgitation, mitral or tricuspid, and any conditions that increases the rate of volume of ventricular filling. So kung maraming volume, biglang bukas ang papasok agad sa ventricle, that will create a sound. That is your S3 galaw. But in age 40, less than 40, pwede ka pa rin kayo makarinig nito. It may be physiologic for them. Okay? So you need to correlate it clinically. Often disappears with treatment of heart failure. So nawawala siya. A pericardial Likewise, this is another sound. So if you hear this, usually it occurs in constrictive pericarditis. If you have constrictive pericarditis, hindi makarelax ang ventricle mo because of the pericardial constraint. Pagbukas niya, biglang tigil ang left ventricular filling kasi hindi siya mag-expand. So that creates your pericardial knock. This is seen in constrictive pericarditis. For opening snap, this is seen in mitral stenosis. So you hear the diastolic rumbling murmur of your mitral stenosis, then you hear another sound, probably that is pericardial opening snap. Okay? So, if you try to be if you want to measure yung A2OS interval, pakinggan nyo lang kung wide siya. This is inversely related to the degree of gradient across the mitral valve. So, inverse, ibig sabihin, pag narrow siya, less severe. Tama? Pag wide ang A2OS interval nyo, ang degree ng stenosis is worse o mas maliit yung valve area nyo. The four-heart sound occurs during atrial systole. This is a low pre-systolic sound produced in the ventricle during ventricular filling. And this is usually an indication of an effective atrial contraction. So you don't hear an S4 gallop in cases of atrial fibrillation. Okay? Ano pa ba? So yung S4 nyo can also be seen in AS, Hong Kong, ischemic heart disease. But what is very important na dapat yung malaman dyan is yung atrial contraction. Okay? So you don't have an S4 gallop in AL. Tama na yun? Pagod na ako. Okay na pa. You have questions, guys? Huh? Matatandaan nyo kaya kung maririnig nyo yung mga sound?